And he said, I don't want the food. You know, imagine, he's hungry, you know, and he said, I don't want the food. He said, what do you want then? If you don't want the food, you know, why did you come here? You know, what do you want? It's the day of Eid, you don't want the food. What do you want? He said to him, tuhaddithni. He said, tell me hadith. So, you know, Imam Az-Zuhri was shocked, you know, that this young boy, on the day of Eid, when everybody is playing and having food and all that, he comes to me, and I put food in front of him, and he goes, I don't want food, I want hadith from you. So he said, okay, and he started telling him 40, he told him 40 hadith. Imam Az-Zuhri narrated 40 hadith with the chains. When they used to tell hadith, it wasn't like us little boys, oh, Abu Huraira said that, the Prophet ﷺ said that, is such and such from such and such from such and such from Abu Huraira who said that, the Prophet ﷺ said this. 40 hadith, Imam Malik wrote it on his, what do you call those things? Slate or tablet, he wrote it on that. After he finished, he said, Zidni. Imam Malik said, tell me more. I want more. You know, you just told me 40 hadith, I want more. Imam Az-Zuhri said to him, go home and learn these first. Go and learn these 40 hadith, then I'll give you more. He said, I've already learned them. He grabbed the tablet from his hand. You know, he couldn't believe it. He goes, what? You already learned it. He took the tablet from his hand. He said, tell me the hadith. He said, then I told him all of the hadith, 40 hadith from all the chains. Just after listening to them once and writing it down once, he told him all of them. Then Imam Az-Zuhri said to him, Qum fa'anta min aw'iyatil ilm. He said, get up, stand up, because you are from the vessels of knowledge. Sahih, Ya Ibn Abbas, you are from the vessels of knowledge. Get up. You know that you are from the scholars. This is your position. So we see that somebody like Imam Malik, you know, he used this knowledge, this memory, the capabilities that Allah He gave him, he used it in that. You know, some people, everybody he has capabilities. Each one of you who's sitting here, you've all got capabilities. All of us, he's got something, you know, which we'll be good in. But what do we use it in? That's the question. You know, some brother, he might not, his memory might not be good, but he might be very strong. Or another brother, you know, he might not be physically strong, but his memory is good. Or another brother, you know, his memory might not be good, but his understanding or his logic is good. So what do you use it in? And what did Imam Malik use his thing in? By the age of 21, at the age of 21, Imam Malik ibn Anas, he became qualified to give fatwa. What does it mean to give fatwa? It means that you ask him a question which the like of which has not been asked before, and he can look into Quran and Sunnah, and he can do ijtihad, and he can give you the answer that based on Quran and Sunnah, this is the answer to your question. 21 years of age. What is the status of Imam Malik? An Abi Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, that the Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said, La yudribanna an-nasu akbad al-ibli fi talab al-ilmi fala yajiduna aliman a'lama min alim al-Madina. Narration in Musnad of Imam Ahmad. And other narrations as well, which are similar to this, that the Prophet ﷺ said, La yadribanna an-nas akbad al-ibl. This is a way of, what do you call it? This is a way of, what's the word? Explanation, or this is a way of, you know, expression. This is a way of expression. La yadribanna an-nas akbad al-ibl. The people, they will strike the livers, yeah, the livers of the camels. What does that mean? It doesn't mean literally they're going to get sticks and start beating the camels' livers. What it means is that they will travel hard. That's what it means, that they will travel and travel so that the camel itself, you know, he will feel the pain. That's how much they will travel. This is a way of expression in Arabic. La yadribanna akbad al-ibl, to literally means to strike the livers of the camels, but what it means is that they will exert the camels. In other words, long journeys they will make fi talab al-ilm, in searching for the knowledge. فَلَا يَجِدُونَ عَالِمًا أَعْلَمَ مِنْ عَالِمِ الْمَدِينَةِ. And they will not find any scholar more knowledgeable than the scholar or the scholars of Al-Madinah, the city of the Prophet ﷺ. And Sufyan ibn Uyayna, he said, on commenting on this hadith, he said, it is Malik because there is no equal to Malik in Al-Madinah. Malik does not have an equal. There's nobody in Medina who can match who is alive today who can match Imam Malik. And Imam al-Shafi'i, rahimahullah, he said that if it was not for Sufyan ibn Uyayna and Imam Malik, the knowledge of the Hijaz would have disappeared. The Hijaz is the area in the west of Arabian Peninsula, specifically, covering Medina and Mecca. This area is known as Hijaz, from the early times. He said if it wasn't for Sufyan ibn Uyayna and Imam Malik, the knowledge of the Hijaz would have disappeared. And it is narrated that Yahya ibn Ma'in, he said that Malik min hujajillahi ala khalqihi, that Imam Malik is one of the proofs of Allah against his creation. That is the status of Imam Malik, that he is one of the proofs of Allah, one of the proofs that Allah uses against his creation in terms of knowledge, or one of the ways in which he establishes the knowledge on his creation is through Imam Malik. And it is also narrated that Imam Malik, he said, "Ma aftaytu hatta shahida li sab'una anni ahlun lidhalik." That I did not give fatwa, I did not make ijtihad or give opinion from myself using Quran and Sunnah, using my understanding of Quran and Sunnah to give you fatwa, to produce fatwa, until 70 people, they witnessed that I was qualified for that. And today, we find, young brother just goes to spend few years in Medina, Islamic University, and he comes out and starts giving fatwa to the people, or not even that, reads a few hadith in English, reads some Sahih al-Bukhari and this and that, and he's answering people's questions. Okay, this is what you should do, and giving fatwa. I'm not talking about answering questions which the ulama have answered, but making his own ijtihad. And Imam Malik said, I did not give fatwa until 70 people. And he means 70 people, he means 70 people better than him, not ordinary people in the street saying, yeah, you can give fatwa now. Not that. 70 scholars who said, yes, now you are qualified to give fatwa. And also, if you study the hadith, mustalahul hadith, the science of hadith, if you study it, you will see that they have in science of hadith what they call the golden chain, the most authentic chain. As we know, of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, what is the most authentic book of hadith after the Quran? Al-Bukhari. But even in Sahih al-Bukhari, some chains are more authentic than others. And the most authentic chain, which Imam al-Bukhari, has mentioned, which they refer to as silsilatu dhahab, which means the chain of gold. If you find this chain in any hadith, then that hadith is sahihun sahih, is the most asahul asanid, the most authentic of chains. He said from Imam Malik, from Nafi', the Mawla of Ibn Umar, from Ibn Umar, from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is the most authentic chain of narration. That Imam Malik, if you hear a hadith which has been narrated from Imam Malik, who heard it from Nafi', who was the freed slave of Abdullah ibn Umar, who heard it from Abdullah ibn Umar, the son of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, who heard it from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is silsilatul dhahab. This is the chain of gold. You will not get a chain, better than that. As for his students, Imam Malik, he had students from all over the Islamic State. People came, and how not? How can it be? How would it be otherwise? All over the Islamic State they came. And also one of the characteristics of Imam Malik was that every week he would invite his students, for a meal to his house. Every week, they would come to his house for a meal. As for the fear of Allah of Imam Malik, whenever he would be asked a question, if somebody came and asked him a question, and when we're talking about question, by the way, again, I'm referring to questions which have not been asked before, questions which need somebody to look into Quran and Sunnah and give the answer. Not like, for example, let's say you ask one brother a question, brother, what should I do if this happens? Does this break my wudu? And some scholar has already answered that, and he's just telling you that. We're not talking about that type of question. We're talking about a question which has not been answered before, and it needs somebody to look into Quran and Sunnah and give you the answer. When somebody would ask Imam Malik that type of question, he would say, wait. He went, he'd make wudu, He'd sit on his bed or his, his whatever he was, he's sitting on, and then he would say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, that there's no power or might except in Allah. Then he would answer the question. He was so scared because he knew that this is so, this is so scary. Because he is reported to him have said that ma min shay'in ashaddu alayya min an us'ala an mas'alatin min al-halal wal-haram لأن هذا قطع في حكم الله, that there is nothing which is more severe on me than I am asked about a mas'ala, that is this halal or is this haram. There's nothing more harder on me than for somebody to ask me this question, because this is from the commandment of Allah. In other words, if I say the wrong thing, then he could be in hellfire on the day of judgment. If something is halal and he said this is haram, or something is haram and he said this is halal, he could be questionable on the day of judgment. It will be his neck on the line, because the people say that if someone asks a person on the day of judgment, Allah asks him, why did you do that? And he say, oh, Imam Malik told me to do it. That's why the scholars, they used to be scared like that. And as we know that from the decoration of the scholars, how did the scholars decorate themselves? Not with perfume, not with robes, but with the statement, I do not know. And Al-Haytham ibn Jamil, he said that I heard Imam Malik being asked about 48 questions, 48 matters he was asked. I heard, myself in front of me being asked 48 on separate occasions, 48 questions, and to 32 of them, 32 out of 48, which is 2/3, he said, La adri, I don't know. He didn't say, oh, okay, I'm Imam Malik. If I don't answer this question, I'm going to lose respect. So if I don't know, I'll just guess and give the answer. He said, La adri, I don't know. And Abu Darda, he said, to say I do not know is half of knowledge. If you can see a scholar who says that I do not know is half of knowledge. Now you might think, how can it be half of knowledge? Because knowledge means to know something. So how can somebody who's saying that I don't know, how can you say that he's got knowledge? Because what is the top knowledge? Is fear of Allah. If you have fear of Allah, then you have got knowledge. You're an alim. If you have fear of Allah, you're an alim. And that's what the scholars, they used to say, that the knowledge is not with many narrations. You could have memorized the whole of Sahih al-Bukhari, but if you don't fear Allah, you're jahil, you're ignorant. So the real knowledge is to fear Allah. Even if you only know one hadith, but you fear Allah, then you are from the ulama. And when the alim, he says, I do not know, he is saying that from fear of Allah. That's why they said that to say I do not know is half of knowledge. Once, a questioner, he came to Imam Malik from Morocco, from Al-Maghrib. And Imam Malik, he's in Medina, and you know where Morocco is, northwest of Africa. He traveled all the way, not on camel or riding beast. 4 months journey to Al-Madinah, to Imam Malik. And he came to ask him a question. And Imam Malik, he didn't know how to answer the question. He said, come to me tomorrow. So the man, he came to him the next day. Because Imam Malik, he wanted time to think about the question. He came the next day. He said, what's the answer? He said, I don't know. He said, the people of Morocco, they said this question, they came, the learned scholars of Morocco, they said, go to Al-Madinah and go and ask Imam Malik, because there's nobody who is more knowledgeable on the face of this earth than Imam Malik. Go and ask him. And I've traveled 4 months of journey, and those people, they are waiting in Morocco. That what is Imam Malik going to say? And I've traveled 4 months of journey to ask you, what is the answer to this question? And you're telling me that I do not know. What am I going to say to the people? What am I going to say to them when I go back? And they'll say that, what did he tell you? 4 months, they're 4 months back, 8 months. After 8 months, they will see me and they'll ask me that, what is the answer? He'll say, tell them that Imam Malik does not know. Tell them that. When they ask you what's the answer to the question, tell them Malik does not know. Tell them La adri, I do not know. Also from the humbleness of Imam Malik, that if he was wrong, if he was ever wrong on a matter, he gathered his students. He didn't say, okay, I'm not going to tell them that, I made a mistake, because then they're going to think, oh, Imam Malik, he makes mistakes and we're going to lose respect for him. If he knew that he had made a mistake, he gathered all the students and he announced that I made a mistake and I said this and I shouldn't have said that, and what I should have said was that. Also, so you see, And as we know that whoever makes himself humble for the sake of Allah, then Allah raises him.